لا we starting في أمان الله when I leave. على بركة الله. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. Before we start, since the website is down, you can go to, if you're listening to the lecture, you can go to ustream.com and just search up Tayyib and you should be able to view the video live, the lecture. I have a question about the previous lecture about foods and drinks, and when I talked about alcohol and being in low percentage in some foods, we said the ulama and the fuqaha said as the قاعدة and the rule is ما أسكر كثيره فقليله حرام. What's too much of it will intoxicate you, then too little of it will be forbidden. And this is a rule that we all know and we're all familiar with. But there was an issue when I said that also the fuqaha understood from this statement ما لم يسكر كثيره فقليله ليس بحرام, that if too much of something will intoxicate you, then too little of it is forbidden. If you drink a liter of whiskey, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, you get drunk. So a little of whiskey, even if it's a sip, is haram. That's what the rule says. Also the rules derived from this rule, as the fuqaha derived it. They said, then what too much of it will not intoxicate you, then too little of it is not haram. You clear? That's what it is. If too much of something will intoxicate you, too little of it is haram. If too much of something will not intoxicate you, then too little of it isn't haram. And the reason we mentioned that, because the famous questions all the time is there is little or percentage of alcohol in some food, for example, in cake. Which question I was asked, and actually Kareem from Canada sent this question. He wants to clarify. Some cakes, they add a very subtle, very little percentage or very little drops of alcohol, and the reason they dropped it or they put it in there to dissolve some of the oils in there. But anyway, because alcohol is very good solvent, the question becomes, can we eat this cake? Okay? Can we eat this cake? We said the rule is clear, and the fuqaha have said, if you will take this cake, okay, let's say you buy 10 cakes, huh? And you eat all of them, will you get drunk? You won't. So as a result, the ulama said, what's too much of it does not get you intoxicated, then too little of it is not haram. Based on this qaida, and this is a rule, this is not something I made up, this is a rule that fuqaha have talked about, the sahaba have spoken of, okay? So, if the forbidden material or substance get diluted too much to a point where its effect is lost, then the hurma disappears. Being haram goes away. Yeah, in other words, if we have a bucket of water and you bring a drop of clean water, you bring a drop of alcohol and you drop it in this bucket. Well, if you drink that bucket, will you get drunk? Even if you drink it, will you get different taste? Most probably not. Okay? Will the color change? Most probably not. Okay, will the smell of the water change when there's too much water and you put a drop? Most probably it will not. Then the water is keeping its purity. Okay, so you can look at this and apply. So that is what we answered. So if there is any confusion, then inshallah by this answer it's resolved. Kitab al-Ayman. So tonight inshallah we start with Kitab al-Aymani, and that is the chapter of oaths and swearing. As usual with what the author rahimahullah has said. قال المصنف رحمه الله تعالى: كتاب الأيمان: ومن حلف ألا يفعل شيئا ففعله أو ليفعلنه في وقت فلم يفعله فيه فعليه كفارة إلا أن يقول إن شاء الله متصلا بيمينه أو يفعله مكرها أو ناسيا فلا كفارة عليه، ولا كفارة في الحلف على ماض سواء تعمد الكذب أو ظنه كما حلف فلم يكن، ولا في اليمين الجارية على لسانه من قصد إليها، كقوله في عرض حديثه لا والله وبلا والله، لقول الله تعالى لا يؤاخذكم الله باللغو في أيمانكم، ولا تجب الكفارة إلا في اليمين بالله تعالى أو اسم من أسمائه أو صفة من صفات ذاته كعلمه وكلامه وعزته وقدرته وعظمته وعهده وميثاقه وأمانته، إلا في النذر الذي يقصد به اليمين فإن كفارته كفارة اليمين. ولو حلف بهذا كله والقرآن جميعه فحنث أو كرر اليمين على شيء واحد قبل التكفير أو حلف على أشياء بيمين واحد لم يلزمه أكثر من كفارة، وإن حلف أيمانا على أشياء فعليه بكل يمين كفارتها، ومن تأول في يمينه فله تأويله إلا أن يكون ظالما فلا ينفع تأويله، بقول رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يمينك على ما يصدقك به صاحب. Yalla, let's go home. So I usually read what the author rahimahullah said for the الأمانة العلمية and for the honesty of delivering knowledge, that's all. الأيمان, the chapter of Ayman and oaths, and people familiar with swearing, when people swear, جمع يمين واليمين هو الحلف والقسم, is to swear. Yamin means to swear, and also yamin is the hand, the right hand is called al-yamin because people expected to raise their hands or they point wallahi, usually when he wants to swear he says wallahi, by Allah, he raises his right hand, so that is related to this, as well as when people would do contracts or agreement with each other, they will shake hands, the right hands, as a promise. Halas, we agree on this, and they shake their hands. Give me your hands to shake. So that means it's an agreement, and I give you my word. So that is why it's called اليمين, as we will see. واليمين اصطلاحا توكيد الشيء بذكر معظم مصدرا بحرف من حروف القسم. When we say about swearing, is to make a statement. Okay, to make a statement. Beginning of this statement is using one of the adawat or one of the tools of swearing. Okay, and the tools of swearing are known in the Arabic. حروف القسم, the letters, they call it the letters of swearing or the tools. وهي الواو والباء والتاء والهمزة. الواو والباء والتاء والهمزة. You say والله, تالله, بالله, الله, الله. That is, or Allah. These are, when the two hamzas come together, they join them, they make them hamza mad. Allah becomes Allah. Okay? So, when someone uses these tools, then he swears. Okay? But we also, the intention is important, as we will see the rulings and the ahkam of swearing. طيب الأصل في اليمين what is the حكم of اليمين؟ قال الله تعالى لا يؤاخذكم الله باللغو في أيمانكم ولكن يؤاخذكم بما عقدتم به الأيمان. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the swearing in the Quran in Surah Al-Ma'idah. He mentions about the swearing, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يعني will not hold you or does not hold you accountable for لغو. And we will talk about the meaning of يمين اللغو. We'll talk about يمين الغموس and all these things. So it's in the Quran. يعني Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also invited to preserve your yameen. وَاحْفَظُوا أَيْمَانَكُمْ, to preserve your yameen. So when you make a swear, or when you swear, or you make an oath, then you have to respect it, and you have to fulfill it as you are requesting. Also something to point out before we start with the fiqh is كثرة اليمين علامة من علامات النفاق. Too much swearing is a sign of hypocrisy. Okay? Too much swearing is a sign of hypocrisy. So very important, the Muslim who wants to be safe with his deen and not to come on the day of judgment and he find all these sins that he didn't even have a clue that he made them because of what his tongue has uttered, then he must understand that swearing too much, and usually when you see someone swears every 2 sentences or every 2 words, wallahi, wallahi, you start suspecting, start having suspicion. Okay? So it's very important to understand that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describing the munafiqeen, اتخذوا أيمانهم جنة فصدوا عن سبيل الله. اتخذوا أيمانهم جنة. The munafiqeen, the hypocrites, use the swearing as protection. Junnah, as protection. Yani when he wants to get out of the trouble, he swears. When you swear to someone who honors the meaning of Allah, when you swear to someone who honors the word of Allah, he's going to believe you. Okay? Usually those who do not respect the word of Allah, or who have very little knowledge of Allah, when someone swears to them, they don't believe. How many times do you hear people, Wallahi, I didn't do it. So he will tell you, no, you swear by your son. That is shirk. But he will believe you more, right? Swear by the Prophet. La, swear by your mother. Swear by your father. La. There's nothing, you should not swear by anything other than Allah. Also, there is nothing better than Allah to be sworn. And nothing you should believe more than if someone swears by Allah. So out of the honoring of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you accept when someone swears by Allah. And if he's lying, between him and Allah, okay? من خدعنا بالله خدعنا له. Whoever gonna fool us using Allah, we will be fooled for him. It's no problem, okay? Because we honor Allah. And as I mentioned, the authentic hadith that Isa alayhi salam saw a man stealing, so he went to reprimand him, to tell him to fear Allah. So the man, when he saw him stealing, فقال الرجل لا ما سرق. والله ما سرق. The man said, Wallahi, I didn't steal. And Isa alayhi salam just saw him with his own eyes. فقال عيسى عليه السلام كذبت عيني آمنت بالله وكذبت عيني. Since the man swore, he said, I believe in Allah, Isa alayhi salam, and I distrust my eyes. I gotta question my eyes, but since you swore, وَمَنْ يُعَظِّمْ شَعَائِرَ اللَّهِ فَإِنَّهَا مِنْ تَقْوَى الْقُلُوبِ. He who honors the rituals and the rights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's from the taqwa of the heart. When someone says, Wallahi, khalas, انتهى الموضوع, and it's over. But are there people who don't care? Of course. When they, as the Arabs said, when they told the thief to swear, he said, that's the escape, khalas. I'm gonna escape. Once I swear to them, I'm out. They're gonna believe me. So he will swear. He's a thief, he will not hesitate. ويقول الله سبحانه وتعالى ويحلفون بالله إنهم لمنكم وما هم منكم ولكنهم قوم يفرقون. That they will swear that they're belonging to you and they don't belong to you. About the hypocrites, again, sort of trouble. They will swear that we're part of you. They know in their hearts they're not with you. Okay? But they swear and they don't distinguish. يحلفون لكم لترضوا عنهم فإن ترضوا عنهم فإن الله لا يرضى عنكم. They will swear to you, so you will be pleased with them. So you go fight, they don't come with you. So when you return, you say, Wallahi, I was sick. Wallahi, I was busy. And he's lying. Wallahi, wallahi, my daughter was sick. My wife beat me up. Whatever. He's swearing so you can be pleased with him. You understand? خلاص, he knows that since you honor the word of Allah, if he swears, he will convince you. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exposes them. That's why Surah Al-Tawbah is called Al-Fadiha. As Ibn Abbas said, Al-Fadiha يعني the surah that exposes, the exposure, because it exposes the munafiq. That's why a lot of the Salaf and a lot of the ulama and a lot of the Sahaba, they refuse to swear. يعني when he goes to court in front of the Qadi and he's asked to swear so he can يعني get what belongs to him, he would rather sacrifice that thing, lose it, and not to swear. The wara' and to stay away from swearing is a sign of iman. So listen well. But if you need it, you need it. There is no harm to do it. Once you need to swear, you swear. But don't make it on your tongue as يعني a habit. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders the Prophet ﷺ to swear in the Quran. Three different mawaqi' and three different situations. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to swear. قال الله تعالى قل بلى وربي لتبعثن ثم لتنبؤن بما عملتم وذلك على الله يسير. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, say, by my Lord, you will be brought back. And you will be asked about what you used to do. Okay, so Allah tells the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to swear. Okay? Also the Prophet ﷺ used to swear يعني when he needed you see when الأشعريين who when he ﷺ was going out in Ghazwat Tabuk, some people came to him, they didn't have anything. And when you travel with an army, you need to be prepared. You need a camel, you need an animal, you need a donkey, something to carry you. So the Prophet ﷺ, as the hadith said, حلف إليهم والله لا أجد ما أحملكم عليه. والله لا أجد ما أحملكم عليه. يعني some of the tafasir said they were asking for something to carry them. A lot of the Mufassirin said they wanted an animal to carry them. They used to ride 3 and 4 on one camel or on one dabba. Some of the Mufassirin said actually they weren't asking for that. They were asking for shoes to use it when they walk. That's how poor they were. Yet the Prophet ﷺ, with that very minor request, still the Prophet ﷺ didn't have to give them. So he swore, as the report said, he swore to them, Wallahi, I don't have anything to carry on. SubhanAllah. So they turned away. وَعَيُّنُهُمْ تَفِيضُ مِنَ الدَّمِ. They turned away, crying. So the point is, it's okay to swear when it's needed. Okay? When it's needed. يقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم الحلف منفقة للسلعة ممحقة للربح. في رواية ممحقة للكسب. حلف swearing is to be able to sell your product. How many people they would swear, Wallahi, my price is $10. Yeah, give me 50 cents. And he's lying. Okay? But he swears to sell. So the Prophet ﷺ confirms this, not the behavior, but the technique, like it does work. So that's why he's saying, الحلف منفقة للسلع. That swearing will sell the product for you. But if you're lying, the Prophet ﷺ said, destruction for the Prophet. Destruction for the Prophet. And yeah, you will manage to sell your product, but Allah will put no barakah in your profits. Okay? So be aware of that, and you shouldn't be swearing right and left. قال ومن حلف ألا يفعل شيئا ففعله أو لا يفعلنه في وقت فلم يفعله فيه فعليه كفارة لأنه قد حنث. He said, now we talk about al-hanth. Al-hanth is to fail to fulfill your swear. Okay? Now you can swear to do, and you can swear not to do. Okay? Most swears will be, I swear to do such and such, or I swear not to do such and such. So if you swear to do and you fail to do, then you have failed your swear. Okay? Then you hanathed. Hanth is not to fulfill your swear. So if you swore to do something and you didn't, then you failed. If you swore not to do something and you did it, you failed. Alright? So very important point. فَإِن لَمْ يَفْعَلْ. So if someone, the author rahimahullah now saying, if someone swears not to do something, but he did it, or he swore to do something at certain time and he didn't, then he has broke his swear and his oath, and he is required to give kafara. Kafara is the expiation, as we will talk about it maybe next time. قال إلا أن يقول إن شاء الله متصلا بيمين. Here is the outlet. Here is the escape for swearing. Someone who swears and keeps breaking his swears and keep giving kafara, here is an easy way for you to avoid all that. Okay? A lot of us swear with the intention that we are serious about what we're swearing. But things happen and we end up not able to do. So I swear, swear, خلاص. Someone invites you to his house. So he tells you, no, you need to swear to me you're gonna do. Okay? خلاص, I'll try my best. La. You try your best. I want you to swear. You shouldn't do that. But let's say someone did not. But now you're not sure if you're going to be able to make it on Sunday or not. But he wants you to swear. He's not letting you go. So you go and you say, Wallahi, I'll come to your house on Sunday, inshallah. Right? That, inshallah, solve all your problems. If you go, you fulfilled your swear. If you don't go, you said inshallah. So obviously Allah did not will. So there is no kafar. That's called al-istithna fil yamin. Istithna yani to make the exception. And that is by using inshallah. Now that should not be a way for you to use it so you can lie. Alright? Because again, you're going to start using this to lie, you're falling in the hypocrisy. But when you are not sure, someone said, Wallahi, I will donate $10,000 to the masjid. He thinks he has money, or he has money, then once he leaves the masjid, he loses. Something happens, business goes bad, whatever. He's still obligated to give. But once he said, inshallah, okay? If he gives, he should, because he swore. But if he doesn't, then there is no kafara. Clear? So that is what the author said, the author rahimahullah said, إِلَّا أَن يَقُولَ إِن شَاءَ اللَّهِ. Then there is no kafara, وَلَوْ حَنَث. There is no kafara, even if he does not go through with what he swore about. قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من حلف على يمين فقال إن شاء الله لم يحلف. Who makes yamin, who makes a swear, or who swears, and says, Inshallah, there is no way he will break. There's no way. Because he said he made an exception. And that exception is by the will of Allah. So if he went through with it, obviously the will of Allah was to go through with it. If he did not go through with it, obviously the will of Allah was not to go through with it. And he's not responsible. وجاء في الصحيحين في قصة سليمان بن داود أن سليمان قال والله لأطوفن الليل على 90 امرأة تلد كل امرأة غلاما يقاتل في سبيل الله فقال له الملك قل إن شاء الله فلم يقل فوطئ 90 امرأة في ليلة واحدة ولم تلد منهن أي امرأة إلا امرأة واحدة ولدت شق غلام. Sulaiman alayhi salam swore one night, and he was married to 90, to over 90, and he swore that he will have intercourse with 90 of his wives. Each one will give birth to one child who will fight fi sabilillah. So what he cared about? It wasn't the shahwa. It was what he wanted. Someone, soldier to fight fi sabilillah. And you know, the Sulaiman used to talk to the angels and the jinn and the birds. So a malak, an angel, told him, say inshallah. He didn't say inshallah. Perhaps he's doing something for Allah. So none of them gave birth, except one. And she gave birth to a half of a human. Half a child, half. Okay, shaq. So that is significance, okay, of saying inshallah. والشاهد, the Prophet said in Bukhari, ولو قال إن شاء الله لكان دركا لحاجته ولم يحل. طيب. Now Sulaiman alayhi salam said, Wallahi, I will give, like I will sleep with 90, and each one will give a child who's gonna fight. Since he didn't say inshallah, did he fulfill his swearing or he didn't? He didn't. Because his swearing was to sleep and have, but he didn't have. So the Prophet said, if he would have said inshallah, then he would have not broke his swear. Alright? So if you feel the need to swear, just say inshallah so you can get yourself out of the confusion. لكن المؤلف اشترط that inshallah needs to be in association with the swear. Okay? يعني you don't say خلاص wallahi I will come to your house, and then 2 hours later you call him and you say inshallah. It has to be simultaneously, it has to be said at the same time. That is the condition that the author rahimahullah has said. If there is a little, some time in between, that is fine. But if it's longer, the longer is the week. After a minute, that's fine. Okay? But the hours later, days later, then that is. The Prophet ﷺ, when he was talking about the sanctity of Mecca, okay? He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لا ينفر صيدها ولا يختلى خلا. Then he sallallahu talk in the khutbah. Okay? So Al-Abbas radiallahu anhu said, إلا الإذخر يا رسول الله. Of course, in Mecca, you cannot hunt, and in Mecca, you cannot cut the trees. So the Prophet ﷺ said that should not be done. And then he continued with his khutbah. After a little bit, Al-Abbas radiallahu anhu, the uncle, said, except al-idkhar ya Rasulullah. Idkhar, some kind of plant. Okay, very good smell. So he reminded, as if the Prophet ﷺ perhaps told him before, that al-idkhar is okay to use, from even if it's in Mecca. It's okay to pick up plant فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إلا الإذخر, except الإذخر. So you can see, so they use this as a dalil that there is, the Prophet ﷺ gave a ruling that you should not pick any plants in Mecca. And then after a little bit, in his khutbah, someone told him, what's about al-idkhir? So he said, sallallahu except al-idkhir. So they're saying there was an interval of time between giving the hukum and then making the exception. The same thing with the swearing. To make a swearing, to swear, and then make the exception, because inshallah is an exception. Okay? They use this dalil as a dalil, this hadith as a dalil that it's okay to separate. قال أو يفعله مكرها أو ناسيا فلا كفارة عليه. If someone is forced to swear, and there is no kafara if he does not fulfill his swear. If someone doing it coerced, or someone does it out of forgetfulness, then there is no kafara. Okay? Yeah, someone, for example, has $100. Okay, give them away. Then a situation came up, a few minutes later, a few hours later, a few days later, and he forgot that he did give that $100 away. So a situation he had to swear. He said, Wallahi, I will give you $100. But he forgot, okay, he forgot that he gave away the $100. So nas, ويقول الله سبحانه وتعالى ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا. So then in nisyan and forgetfulness, يعني the ummah of Muhammad is not held accountable in regard of that, and whatever they are coerced ومستكرهوا عليه. قال ولا كفارة في الحلف على ماض سواء تعمد الكذب أو ظنه كما حلف فلم يكن. طيب. The swearing that requires kafara is a swearing in the future. Wallahi, I'll do this. Wallahi, I'll go there. Wallahi, I'll visit this. Wallahi, I'll give that. But swearing in the past, there's no kafara. Swearing about the past, there's no kafara, because there is no hint, and you cannot break it. But you can be lying, okay? But you cannot break it. Yeah. If I swear for the future, I will visit Oklahoma. Then, if I don't visit Oklahoma, I will have to give kafara. But if I swear about something already happened, whether I'm saying the truth or not, there is no way for me to fulfill it or to break. You understand? So the swearing that requires kafara is a swearing for something to be done in the future. That is why swearing in the past, whether you're lying or not, there is no kafara. However, if you're lying, it's called yameen ghamus. Ghamus. Of course, imagine, that's not like to say. Now, when we're saying there is no kafara, that doesn't mean the act itself is not sinful. La. Don't get confused. Okay? When you swear about something and you're lying, that's a major sin. Okay? يعني يسميها العلماء يمين الغموس. هذا الغموس يعني من الغمس, and that is to dip. It takes the person who swears it and dips him in the hellfire. Ghamus. Okay? So it's very important to be aware of that. يمين الغموس. كل يمين حلف صاحبها كاذبا متعمدا. Okay? Now let's say we were talking yesterday and I told you, let's say we're neighbors. I told you, oh, you know, the guy lives next to us, he got robbed yesterday. So a few hours later, we separate. You see someone who's in the neighborhood also. You tell him, oh, so-and-so got robbed yesterday. So he tells you, no way. He said, well, you say, wallah. You are swearing based on what I told you. obviously such, and then we find out that he was never robbed. I heard, I thought, I told you, you believed me, you swore. Such yameen is not ghamus, because you did not intentionally lie. Okay? You were misinformed. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ has said, كفى بالمرء كذبا أن يحدث بكل ما يسمع. يعني, it will make the person a liar to say everything he hears. Everything you hear, you're gonna just transmit it. Not everything you hear is true. Okay? So you need to, إن جاءكم فاسق بنبأ فتبين. You need to clarify, you need to find out, you need to investigate before you go around and start spreading anything you hear. So, الحلف or يمين الغموس, the person has to be, when he swears, has to be lying and knows that he's lying. Alright? That is تعريف اليمين الغموس. So, is there kafara? The ulama have different opinions, but الراجح that there is no kafara in اليمين الغموس, بل تجب فيها توبة. Because it's bigger than you swear to do something and you don't do it, but you swear intentionally to lie. That is way bigger than the first one. So a kafara will not do it. Okay, kafara will not do it. So it's very important. رأي الجمهور, the majority of أهل العلم, that there is no kafara, but the tawbah is required, because يمين الغموس is bigger than to have a kafara. قال إبراهيم النخعي كانوا يضربوننا على اليمين ونحن صغار. This is for raising our kids. Nakhai rahimahullah said they used to hit us when we were little, when we used to swear. They'll hit us. They'll discipline us. Okay? So very important. Very important to pay attention to them. If you see your child, okay, if you see that he's accustomed, it's becoming normal for him to swear, you need to discipline him. You need to discipline him, because you don't want that to become a habit. And as we said, when people hear someone swearing all the time, they will have a bad idea about such person. قال المؤلف أو ظنه كما حلف فلم يكن. Someone swore thinking that it did happen, but it didn't. There is no kafara, as the example I gave. And actually this is one of the type of اللغو, قسم اللغو or يمين اللغو. يمين اللغو, which is something that people use in their speech. Okay? You know how, like, in English, for example, you can listen to someone speaking for 2 minutes. In those 2 minutes, he will say, you know what I mean? 10 times, 20 times, 30 times. Right? Every 2 words, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I went yesterday, you know what I mean? You know? Same thing happens with some people, especially who speak Arabic. They will use the word wallahi. Okay? He's not swearing. There is nothing he's swearing about. It's just his tongue got used to it. Wallahi, I went yesterday, and wallahi, I ate biryani, and wallahi, you know? It just becomes a habit. That is labu. Okay? Labu, you know, labu يعني useless talk. Okay? So it's not, the shara يعني make exception for that. كما قال الله تعالى لا يؤاخذكم الله باللغو في أيمانكم. And this non-intentional, habitual wallahi, there is no يعني accountability to it. So when we talk about اللغو, it's 2 types. يمين اللغو. One type is someone who swears with the intention of swearing because on something he thought. So he thought the neighbor was robbed, but he wasn't. But he thought, so he wasn't lying. That is type of love. Okay? There is no kafara, there is no blame. The second type is what the example I gave you compared to, you know what I mean? I mean, alright? That is the second type of yamin billah. قال ولا تجب الكفارة. Obviously, if someone swears on something he's not sure, or something he thought it happened, there is no kafara on him. قال ذكر اللغو في اليمين ولا في اليمين الجارية على لسان من قصد إليها, which is the two types of اللغو. There is yamin called yamin al-ikram. And so we're talking about this. There's yamin called yamin al-ikram. Yamin al-ikram, you're eating, you're in a restaurant eating. A brother comes to the restaurant to buy something. Hey, long time I haven't seen you, mashallah. Wallahi, you're gonna sit and eat with me. Ikram is to be generous. So people got used to this. Wallahi, you're gonna drink this tea from me. Wallahi, you're gonna sit and eat with me. Right? We all do that, don't you? You go with someone to eat. You're going to eat, and then when it's time to pay, we the Muslims always astonish the non-Muslims, right? They always look at us like crazy people, right? We're always fighting who's gonna pay. Okay? So you push him aside, he pushes you aside, he wants to pay. You take the money from the cashier and you give her your own money, and then. So that is called ikram. Generosity. يعني. So what is the hukum of that? ذهب جمهور أهل العلم أنها منعقدة وواجبة الإبرام. The majority of أهل العلم said يمين الإكرام منعقدة. إيه يعني you must fulfill it or kafar. Okay? So it's not like اللغو. It's not like اللغو where you just in your speech you say wallahi, bala wallahi, لا. When you swear to be generous with someone, a lot of the times, wallahi, you're gonna eat with me. Wallahi, I'm not hungry, I just ate. If he doesn't eat, there is kafara. Alright? يعني, now you understand that now? Make sure at least he sits and he takes a bite. That's considered eating. Okay? Because then you're gonna have kafara, which will be more expensive than giving him food. So it's very important to understand. ذهب شيخ الإسلام ابن تيمية إن هذه اليمين لا كفارة فيها عند الحد. شيخ الإسلام and other ulama said no, there is no kafara with this. Perhaps they compare it to اليمين. Let's see what's the adilla of those who said there's kafara. Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu was with the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So a man came and said, Ya Rasulullah, I saw a dream. Ru'ya. So he's asking the Prophet sallam to interpret for him. So Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu said, Ya Rasulullah, I'll interpret. Okay? So after he gave the interpretation, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told him, you got some right and you got some wrong. So Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu said, والله لا تخبرني فيما أخطأت به. Abu Bakr tells the Prophet ﷺ, Wallahi, by Allah, you will tell me where I was wrong. So the Prophet ﷺ told him, لا تقسم. Okay? Prophet ﷺ told him, don't swear. Don't swear. Okay? So those who said there is no kafara, like Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, they said, obviously the Prophet ﷺ didn't tell Abu Bakr to give kafara. Because here the Prophet ﷺ didn't tell him what was wrong. He just told him, don't swear. Okay? That's where the hadith ends regarding to this point. So Abu Bakr, so the ulama who went to say there is no kafar, they said, you see, the Prophet ﷺ didn't tell him, okay, and didn't request him or require from him to give kafar. The ulama, the jumhur, who said there is kafar and yameen al-ikram munaqida, they said the Prophet ﷺ told him not to swear. But it's not reported to us if he told him to give kafara or not. Okay? It's not reported. We don't know if he told him. So you can see the same dalil is used for both. Okay. Now if you make it the safe side and to be safe, is you give kafara. But the best way is to avoid the swearing. But if you're generous and you swear, you make sure he eats. Alright? You make sure he sits down and eats. Alright? So, very important. So, يمين الإكرام للجمهور يمين منعقدة يجب الإبرار بها. It must be fulfilled or يحنث صاحبه, or he will have to fulfill it. Yeah. Yeah, question?
Yes.
Come.
Oh, yeah. What if two people
They both swear?
and they want to pay?
خلاص. If they both swear to pay, it's easy. I mean, one of them will end up paying,
Yeah.
so the other has to fulfill the kafara.
Oh.
Okay? Because now we come and we ask, because someone might say, like, we let this pay half and this pay half and we're fine. لا. When he swore, what was his intention? To pay half or to pay full? Sure. Okay? So even then we still say you have kafara. Because the intention with the swearing is very important, like everything else. Okay? So now the kafara, as we will see when we talk about kafara, to feed 10 people. So most probably you will insist to pay.
Yeah.
Alright? So very important. And as we said, shouldn't be swearing too much. You can make sure you pay without swearing. Okay? So, there. Alhamdulillah.
People used to, I'm gonna go, wait for me by the bus stop. You didn't say wallahi, but he just like.
No, that's the problem. That's different. If you do your best and you don't make it, then there is no blame on you. But if you promise him and you don't go through it intentionally, without making the effort, then you are amongst those who break their promises. Clear? ويروى يعني الله سبحانه وتعالى describes إسماعيل إنه كان صادق الوعد وكان رسول النبي. That Ismail السلام was truthful with his promises. So the Mufassirin mentioned from the Qurtubi, he mentioned that Ismail السلام, when he was so concerned about fulfilling his promises that one time he had an appointment with a guy to meet to do some work, and he was waiting for that guy, and that guy forgot. So he stayed waiting for him overnight. Next day, when the guy remembered, came to him, he said he found him where they agreed to meet the day before. Didn't leave, because he was afraid that to break his promise. So it's very important. But when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described for the believers as yufuna bin nadri, or they don't break their promises, if you make the effort and you don't go through with it, then that is, you're fine. Some people, even some of the ulama, went even more. They said, those who break their promises refer to those, إِذَا وَعَدَ أَخْلَفَ, as characters of the hypocrites, as the Prophet said, if he promises, he breaks his promise. They said, that is a person who promises and deep in his heart, he has the intention not to go through. That is actually the one who breaks his promise. Okay? Yeah, and I tell you, خلاص, tomorrow we meet here, inshallah, so we can go buy whatever. And I know in my heart I'm not coming. that is really the worst of them. But if you make your best effort and it doesn't happen, or you make the promise, okay, that I'll meet you here tomorrow, and you don't, but you never had the intention not to make it, things happened, okay, you forgot, something happened, then there is no, you're not included. قال المؤلف رحمه الله: ولا تجب الكفارة إلا في اليمين بالله تعالى أو اسم من أسمائه أو صفة من صفات ذاته كعلمه وكلامه وعزته وقدرته وعظمته وعهده وميثاقه وأمانته. When we talk about swearing, must be in the name of Allah. So if you swear by anything else and you don't go through with it, there is no kafara. But the problem is you committed some shirk. Okay? The Prophet ﷺ said, who swears by other than Allah, then has committed shirk. When he heard Umar radiallahu anh swearing by his father, he forbade him. Okay? He told him, if you're going to swear, swear by Allah. So whoever, the only swearing that will require kafara, if you don't go through with it and fulfill it, that swear which is by Allah, or by a name of the names of Allah, or by an attribute of the attributes of Allah, or by the greatness of Allah, or by the majesty of Allah, or by the praise of Allah, or by the any of that. So can I swear by the Quran? No. Huh?
I think so. People of the cave swear.
The Quran is the word of Allah, and the speech of Allah is an attribute of Allah, and we can swear by the attributes of Allah. So yes, you can swear by the Quran. Okay? Now those mubtadi'ah who said the Quran makhluq, created, for them swearing by the Quran is shirk, because you cannot swear by the creation of Allah. Okay? Now Allah can swear by anything He wants. So don't say Allah swears by Al-Asr and swears by Duha and swears by Shams. That's Allah. You don't put yourself at that. Allah has the right to swear by whatever He wants. But we, the Muslim, we only swear by Allah and whatever related to Allah. His names, His attributes, His characters, His speech, His azama, His elegance, His kibriya. That's what we can swear. If we swear by one of those, then if we don't go through with the swear, then we have broken the da'ah. يعني someone said, عهد الله عليه ألا بعده. يعني the covenant of Allah upon me that I will not do this. That is fine. وعزة الله لا أفعل. That's fine. If he doesn't go through, حنث عليه كفار. Very important. But you don't come and say, by the Kaaba of Allah, I will not do this. No. You cannot swear by the Kaaba. Okay? Very important. By my father, I will. No. By the creation of Allah. No. Okay? But sifat and attributes of Allah, of course, you can. That's why he said, اسم من أسمائه أو صفة من صفات ذاته, or an attribute of His attributes. كعلمه. By the ilm of Allah, I will not do this. Fine. Okay? By the speech of Allah, to the Quran, by the izzah of Allah, by the azama of Allah. That is all fine. قال الحافظ ابن عبد البر: لا خلاف في أن عهد الله يمين إلا عمن لا يعتد بقوله وكلمه. عبد البر رحمه Allah said, there is no dispute, there is no difference amongst the ulama that who swears by the ahd of Allah or the mithaq of Allah, that it's yameen and must be fulfilled. قال إلا في النذر الذي يقصد به اليمين فإن كفارته كفارة يمين. We talked about oath and nadr before. Which one we said of the types of an-nudur? We said that is close to be yameen. لا. The closest one is يمين نذر اللجاج والغضب. We said اللجاج and الغضب is the one who swears to encourage, to discourage, to make you believe in, to make you disbelieve in something. Okay, so he will swear. Okay, so that is the exception. We said such swearing requires kafar. Okay, requires kafar. That's why he said إلا في النذر الذي يقصد به اليمين. So we said nadr al-lajjaj, the person is intending to make a statement. So they compare it to be yamin. Huh? Because we said what? We said he will make the statement, for example, Wallahi, if you leave the house, or he tells, if you don't cook today for my family, I'm leaving the house. We said that is to encourage her to cook. But now, it's really compared to the yamin. So if he doesn't go through with it, that's considered requires kafar. Okay? قال ولو حلف بهذا كله. If he swears with all this, يعني someone says والله وبالله وتالله والله والقرآن وعزة الله وعهد الله وميثاقه وعظمته وكبريائه وجلاله وعلمه. I'm not going to school. Alright? Someone who's 12, 13 years old. So next day his father grabs him from his ear and takes him to school. هو بالغ مكلف فحنث. طيب, he broke the swear. Is he required to give kafara for each term he used, or just one kafara? One kafara. Alright? ولو حلف بهذا كله أو كرر اليمين على شيء واحد قبل التكفير أو حلف على أشياء بيمين واحدة لم يلزمه أكثر من كفارة. Now we're talking about multiple swear. One example I gave you. Someone said, by Allah and His knowledge and His mithaq and His, I'm gonna do this. If he doesn't do it, then he's required for one kafar. The other example is someone كرر يمين على شيء واحد. Someone said, Wallahi, I'm not going to school. 2 hours later he said, Wallahi, I'm not going to school. He wants to make a statement, make it clear. 3 hours later, Wallahi, I'm not going to school. Okay? Next day, he went to school. Kafar. Because he made the kafar, he made the swear on the same thing. Multiple times. Okay? In the same act. So once he broke it, one kafar. But, if he said, Wallahi, tomorrow is Wednesday, I'm not going to school. And tomorrow came and he went to school. Then when he came back to school, tomorrow is Thursday, Wallahi, I'm not going to school. And Thursday he went to school. How many kafar? 2. Okay? أو حلف على أشياء بيمين واحدة لم يلزمه أكثر من كده. يعني someone said, Wallahi, I will not drink and will not eat and will not sleep. Obviously you're going to break this out, huh? But since he used Wallahi once, then all that, one kafar. If he breaks all of them, one kafar, because he swore once, Wallahi, I will not eat or drink or sleep or study or whatever. Then he's required for one kafar. وإن حلف أيمانا على أشياء. That's it. وإن حلف أيمانا على أشياء فقال والله لا أكلت والله لا شربت والله لا لبست فحنث في الجميع فعليه لكل يمين كفر. Look at the difference. Someone said, Wallahi, I will not eat or drink or sleep. If he breaks all of them, kafar. But someone says, Wallahi, I will not drink, and Wallahi, I will not sleep, and Wallahi, I will not eat, and he broke all of them, trace. Three kafar. Alright? قال المؤلف ومن تأول في يمينه فله إن شاء الله this مسألة التأول needs explanation. 9:45. Oh, 9:45. قال المؤلف ومن تأول في يمينه فله تأويلا. تأويل في اليمين is you make the swear, then when you're confronted you say that's not what I meant. Okay? I meant this. Okay? يعني someone wants to come and visit you. You really don't want him to come. Okay? You don't feel like it. But you don't want to tell him I don't feel like it. So you tell him, Wallahi, you know, I have people in my house tonight and we're going to have dinner together. So let's do it some other time. But what you were meaning, your family. Your family is people. That's that. But your statement has to be able to match bodies, coincide. Coincide. But what I usually use the term is to be able to tolerate your ta'wil. You don't say I have people and you're going to the zoo. Alright? Okay. So it has to be suitable for your ta'wil. يعني يتحمل المعنى أو التأويل. So ومن تأول في يمينه فله تأويل. تأول أن يقصد بيمينه أمرا آخر يخالف ظاهر الله. تعريض. تأويل is to mean something other than what your statement gives impression of. Okay? That is التأويل. ولكن اللفظ يحتمله. But your intention can be explained by your statement. Very important. So what is the ruling? قال المؤلف ومن تأول في يمينه فله تأويل. Whoever uses this, then his ta'wil will be accepted. Okay? With exception. Unless he is ظالم. Okay? And he's using ta'wil to, he's being oppressive. He's being unjust. He wants to get away with some مظلمة. From this, the ulama divided the types of التأويل into three. القسم الأول أن يكون الإنسان مظلوما. فله أن يتأول. Someone who is oppressed, and then they tell him to swear, and he knows that he can swear to get what belongs to him, to get his rights back. So he is allowed to make that swearing, even though his intention is something else. So this person is allowed أن يتأول. روي عن عمر وعمران بن حسين رضي الله عنهما قال إن في المعاريض لمندوحة عن الكذب. يعني sometimes تعريض and using this, saying something and you really mean something else, but it can be used when you explain it with what you said, is a protection for you from lying. You have to say it, but you don't want to lie. So you go and you make ta'wil to get what belongs to you. Yani you have the right. So you have to swear this way so you can get what belong to you. والقسم الثاني أن يكون الحالف ظالما فهذا لا ينفعه تأويل. The second type is the person who's swearing is ظالم. يعني he gonna swear to take something unjustly, okay, or unjustly. Something doesn't belong to him, but he gonna swear, use التعريض, use التأويل. يعني he makes the swear to make it sound that this thing belongs to him. But he knows deep it doesn't belong to him. But if he wants to ask, you said it belongs to him. No, I meant this. But he's using ta'reel so he can get it. But he doesn't want to lie at the same time. You understand? Okay. So this is ta'weel will not be accepted. والقسم الثالث أن لا يكون ظالما ولا مظلوما. He's neither one. He's not oppressed or oppressor. So in this way, in this scenario, then it's permissible to use a ta'reel and to use التأويل if it's needed. يعني, for example, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw an old woman, and he said, لا يدخل الجنة عجوز. An old woman will not enter Jannah. He saw an old woman, he tells her, old woman will not enter Jannah. So she got upset. But what the Prophet, because the Prophet was joking with her, but he ﷺ would joke without lies. What the Prophet ﷺ was referring to, that the people and the women in Jannah are not old, they're young. When they enter Jannah, they don't enter Jannah 90 years old. They enter Jannah young. Okay? So that is what he was referring to. So that's ta'reel. He said something, the listener understood one thing, but the speaker meant something else. Alright? So that is, يعني when he told a man, في عينك بياض. بياض يعني عمى. In your eyes there is whitish. In Arabic, if you see that, to them it means blind. Or your husband has in his eyes white stuff. So they think going blind. But actually he's referring to the white. Alright, understand? So ta'rif. To say, make a statement, the listener is accustomed to most people will understand one way, but you mean something else. يعني a man was with Imam Ahmed in his house. Say they're sitting outside the house, but in the yard there's a wall. So one man was looking for this person who's sitting with Imam Ahmed. Okay? So he didn't want to go. So the man screamed from behind the wall, "Is such and such here?" So Imam Ahmed went, he said, "Such and such is not here." Okay, from behind the wall, "Such and such is not here." And the man is sitting with him. So usually this is used when there is benefit. Okay, when there is benefit. وأيضا لما قال الرجل قال للرجل إني حاملك على ولد الناقة. The Prophet ﷺ told the man, "I'm gonna carry you on the son of the camel, on the small camel." Of course, they don't ride small camels; they can't carry. So he got upset. But he ﷺ was referring to what? No, a camel, because every camel is the son of a camel. All right. So that is, so when there is no dhulm over that, and that is permissible. But it shouldn't be used all the time, because then you lose your elegance. People will not take you seriously. People will not trust you. People will question your character, because now they don't know, are you telling the truth or you're lying? Okay? So very important to pay attention. قال المؤلف باب جامع الأيمان ويرجع فيه إلى النية. الأيمان يرجع فيها إلى النية. So someone may swear. Now it's time to go through with it. We ask him, what did you mean? Because sometimes swearing can mean different things. قال فيما يحتمله اللفظ. Yeah. Someone swore. And they came to him and they said, okay, you have to fulfill your swear. So he said, no, I meant this. Okay. If what he said tolerates the statement or his intention that he claiming he had, then this person let go. Okay? Just like the example we give. So اللفظ يجب أن يحتمل النية. The intention has to be explained by the expression. If I say my intention was this and my expression is 2 miles away from it, such intention will not be accepted. Okay? We'll go with the expression. مخالف لظاهر اللفظ, to make a statement that the intention is different, can be one of kinds. أن ينوي بالأمر العام الخاص. قال المؤلف فإذا حلف لا يكلم رجلا يريد واحدا بعينه. He makes a statement that is general, but he means specific. So someone said, Wallahi, I will not talk to that man. That man can be any man. So when he's asked, he said, I was referring to Ali. Okay? Does this intention, can it be explained by the expression? Sure, yes. And if he said, I will not talk to that man, Wallahi, I will not talk to that man. Now we're going to tell him, that man can be any man in this world. He said, no, I meant Ali. That's fine. Okay, that will be accepted from him. قال المؤلف حلف لا يتغدى يريد غداء بعينه. He swore, Wallahi, you walk home and you find your wife cooked for you something you don't like, or something you've been eating for the last 2 weeks. Tired of it. Wallahi, I will not eat lunch or dinner. Okay? Eating dinner is general. But if you come to ask him, what did you mean by that? He said, I meant I will not eat dinner of that food. I will not eat dinner if that food at the table. And that is, he made a statement general, but he meant specific. القسم الثاني أن ينوي الخاص بالعام. Okay? The second type is the opposite. To make it specific, but he means general. قال المؤلف وإن حلف لا يشرب له الماء من العطش يريد قطع منته حنث بكل ما فيه منه. Someone said, you get upset with someone, so you say, Wallahi, not upset. The example, let's say the example. You don't want someone to do you a favor. If he does you a favor, he's always gonna bug you with it, remind you every time. So you said, Wallahi, I will not even drink water at his house. Now, water is, no one will give you water and then make you feel he did you a favor. But you want your intention is what? Is I don't want him to do me any favor. So you say, Wallahi, I will not drink water at his house. But you mean what? You mean I will not accept any favor from him. Okay? So if that was your intention, then anything you eat from him, or anything you drink, or anything you take from him as a favor, you have broke your swear and you're required of kafara. Alright? So the first type is you said, Wallahi, I will not talk to so and so, or I will not talk to a man, or to that man. And when you're asked, you said, I meant Ali. I will not eat dinner. And when you're asked, you said, I meant عدس. Huh? But you will eat dinner if it's something else. Right? The opposite or the other way, you say, Wallahi, I will not drink water from him. You mean what? I don't want him to do me any favor. So if you drink water, from him, you break your sweat. If you drink Pepsi, you break your sweat. If you eat, you break your sweat. Alright? Anything that will indicate he's doing you a favor, and you go through with it, and your intention was you don't want any favor from him, even your statement was specific thing, it will apply to everything. قال وإن حلف لا يلبس ثوبا من غزلها يريد قطع منتها فباعه وانتفع بثمن حدث. Someone said, والله, يعني some woman, let's say, tailors clothes. They said, والله, يعني she tailored him one time and she made him feel like she gave him the world. So he said, والله, I'll never wear anything from you. Okay? So even if he takes it from her and sells it, not wear it, he swore not to wear it, but if he takes it and sells it, فَقَدْ حَنَث. Because his intention was, I don't want any favor from you. Alright? So that is the general, or saying specific to mean general. قال وإن حلف لا يقضينه غدا يريد ألا يتجاوزه فقضاه اليوم لم يحل. Someone swears that, Wallahi, I will give you your money tomorrow. His intention what? His intention that I will give you your money, يعني before tomorrow. But tomorrow is the latest. Okay? So if he gives him today, عليه كفارة? لا. Because his intention was to hasten the paying back. Okay? وإن حلف لا يبيع ثوبه إلا ب100 فباعه بأكثر منها لم يحنث إذا أراد ألا ينقصه عن 100. Someone sells some stuff. I sell some products here. So let's say this microphone. I said, Wallahi, I'm not selling this. Someone comes and said, $70. I said, Wallahi, I'm not selling it. Bought for 100. I mean what? My intention is this 100 at least. Okay? So if I sell it for 110, no, I didn't break my sweat. You understand? Because my intention was to make the statement that this is worth 100, even more. So I will not go less than 100. But I swore, Wallahi, I'll sell it for 100. My intention was, it's worth at least 100, then there's no problem if I sell it for more. وإن حلف لا يتزوجن على امرأته يريد غيظها لم يبر إلا بتزوج يغيظها به. Someone swore that his wife is driving him crazy. So he swore that he gonna marry a second wife, just to drive her crazy. So if he goes and he marries a second wife, but this second wife is so peaceful, and this first wife, nonchalant, indifferent, doesn't care, then he still have to fulfill his promise. Okay? Because he said he gonna marry someone who gonna drive her crazy, or to drive her crazy. So if he marries someone and she's indifferent, he has not fulfilled his swear. Right? وإن حلف ليضربنها يريد تأليمها لم يبر إلا بضرب يؤلمها. والله هذا قولهم ويعني في القلب منه شيء. If he swears to beat her, to hurt her, his wife, then he will not fulfill his swearing unless he, of course, now we're going into swearing of haram, of disobedience. You cannot hit your wife and hurt her. The hitting in Islam, when Allah said about that is a process. You get options. It's not or. The options, if the first option doesn't work, you move to the second. If the second doesn't, you move to the third. But even the third, when it comes to the beating, without pain, without marks. So if someone swears he's gonna hit his wife until send her to 911, لا. He has to fulfill. لا. Okay? Because then it's ma'siyah. And we talk about nadr al-ma'siyah. about swearing to do a disobedience. So it's very important to him. But this is, as we said, we just saying what he said. قال وإن حلف ليضربنها 10 أصوات فجمعها فضربها ضربة واحدة لم يكن. Again the same thing. If he swears to hit her with, let's say, with a whip 10 times. Of course, I need to continue. So he brings 10 whips and he hits her 1 time. Not sufficient. Now we know Ayyub alayhi salam did that when he was sick and his wife disobeyed him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided him to take from the grass and combine it into a stack and hit her once. But they said, the ulama said, this is لأيوب خاصة. That was for Ayyub. Okay? For Ayyub. فإن عدمت النية رجع إلى سبب اليمين وما هيجه. Someone, you come to him and you say, okay, it's time. So we'll continue inshallah next time. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد. جزاكم الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.